Hello you fantastic people and welcome back to Borderlands 3, another 50 kills, this time on Troy in True Vault Hunter mode, Mayhem 4, and hell has it been a day. I started this day at 10 AM and it's currently 12:30 at night, and we have managed to get one done, one successful run, and it is Troy, who by far is my least favorite boss to farm in this game. He's so difficult because he just won't stop jumping around all over the joint. He's actually really good at killing me, at least. I don't know about you guys, but I struggle killing Troy every single time. But it's been a very successful run eventually because we have found a dedicated drop to Mayhem 4. So just for the people who are new to the series or didn't realize before, we're farming on True Vault Hunter mode, Mayhem 4 specifically, because we are looking for the Mayhem 4 dedicated drops. There are dedicated drops for guns that already existed, like the Cutsman that I'm holding, the Lucian Skull, etc. The guns that already exist in the game are scattered amongst new bosses and all the old bosses that have names across the game. There are also Mayhem 4 dedicated drops that are new guns put in the game like 3 days ago that are randomly scattered to name bosses as well. Not every single one has one, but we're testing all of them to find all of them. And today we've had a mad success. Should also just mention for the new guys that we are testing on Mayhem 4 True Vault Hunter mode to just essentially get as many legendaries as possible from every boss and see who drops the most, like just world drop legendaries, and then who drops the most anointed legendaries, who drops the most class mods, artifacts, etc. So we know by the end of it we have a good comparison of who the best boss is for just dropping the most legendaries, the most anointments, the most class mods, and then depending on what you're farming for, you know who to go to. Okay, I'm super keen to get into these legendary items, but super quick just for people who are interested in my build. I did have a great one. I struggled the entire time. Like I said, I hate Troy, so you guys probably have a better one, but if you guys are new to the game, this is what I was currently rocking. I had the King's Skull was probably doing the most damage, in fadeaway, because I'm pretty much stacked for damage and crit damage, and Jacob's pistols are the best for that. My Cutsman was just like my in-between because it does a crap load of damage. I think it was doing more damage than anything else, to be honest, when I wasn't in fadeaway, but you know, the bullet like delay and the charge up really slow. I also got a super Shreddifier, my first one ever, super keen. So I used it a little bit, but honestly, it wasn't doing much damage against him in Mayhem before because I'm just not built for it. And my Lucian's Call to hit him in the head a bunch of times to get my criticals back, which then gets me fade away. As for shield, I pretty much just used one that was high capacity. Class mod, I changed like 20 times, I reckon, throughout all the ones I had, just to try and work out what would do the best. My Jacob's weapon critical damage really helped with the King's Call, and assault rifle damage, obviously my assault rifles. But pretty much everything about this class mod is fantastic, so I was using that one. And then my grenade, I didn't even use the grenades because he's immune to shock damage. But on action skill and gain 50% bonus fire damage with weapons for 10 seconds. Really helps when you're using 3 out of your 4 weapons are fire. Skill tree, I'm not going to run through the whole thing because it just takes forever, but I changed it a whole bunch of times and I'm pretty sure this is what I ended up on. You can just pause the video if you guys want to copy this one. It just does a whole bunch of damage and critical damage. I know you guys have way better builds than me. I've put it in the comments 1,000 times that you guys have all these fantastic builds, but I can't get them all to work. I don't have all the guns you guys have yet. For example, I heard the bang stick is just like the greatest thing for bosses, but I can't get it to drop. Okay, I'll just have showing on screen just one random run through I got. I didn't record all my runs this time, so this is probably not even a particularly fast time. Probably just a chill one. But legendary items. We got 141 legendaries this run out of 50 runs. True Vault Hunter mode, Mayhem 4 again. Which is a fantastic number considering we've got 147 from Grave Ward, and he's usually the MVP for World Drop Legendaries. And then Gigamine 117 in 3rd place. I'm not going to list all of them that we've tested because that'll just take forever, so I'll just start listing the top 3 for the particular class thing we're doing, you know what I mean. As for anointed weapons, Troy is actually now the leader with 25 anointeds out of the 50 runs, so like half the time you're getting an anointed legendary, which is awesome. The other leaders are Gigamind at 22 and Grapeward at 21. So they're all pretty close, but there is definitely a basis to compare them still because Killervault and Traunt got like 10 less, so some are definitely way better than others. And to be honest, all the pain that Troy put me through today, he really should be dropping a whole bunch of anointments as a reward. For class mods, I got 12 from Troy, and the best so far is Graveward with 16. Artifacts, we got 8 from Troy, and Graveward got 17, so not quite as good if you guys are hunting for your class mods artifacts. Definitely go Graveward, particularly because he's way easier to kill. But also you get a few. I think they just turned up both of them from this update in Mayhem 4 because they were just so impossible to get in all the other updates. As for unsuccessful runs, we did have 6 runs where we got 0 legendaries, which is super disappointing given the intensity of the fight and the length of it, given all his immunity stages. Compared to Graveward, who only had 2 unsuccessful runs out of 50, and Gigamind with 3. He generally does drop a lot of legendaries though whenever he does. For example, 7 was the highest amount I got in one shot. And now what I've been super keen to show you guys, since I got this gun for the first time this morning at like 11 AM. This gun is the new Mayhem 4 dedicated drop for Troy, which a lot of people don't know. There are Mayhem 4 dedicated drops that were released like 3 days ago to the game with the update. And the Vosk's Death Grip is one of those guns specific just for Troy on Mayhem 4. You can't get it on Mayhem 1, 2, 3, or no Mayhem modifiers. It does not drop otherwise. But this thing is awesome. It's really cool how it works. I have used it a little bit, of course, because I was just farming Troy today. I haven't used it heaps, but it is super awesome how it interacts in the game. I managed to get 6 of them in 50 runs, so it's actually a pretty decent drop rate as well for a dedicated drop. 3 of them were anointed on top of that, so half of them, which is really awesome. This is probably my best one. It's an electric damage, 626 damage times 6, and then 1600 electric damage with 14% chance. And the anointment at action skill end, the next 2 magazines will have 50% bonus shock damage, which is awesome. Now for how this thing interacts in the game, it is probably one of the coolest guns I've seen interactions wise, how it works in the game. It's super awesome. It has 2 different firing modes. It has one, the Vosk's Grasp, that's how you pronounce it, which is just a singular shot, which you don't have to have any charge or anything like that. And it creates this little spot wherever you shoot it, and it sucks everything in towards it. So if you shoot in the middle of a pack of enemies, it brings them all into one spot, and that's when you use the second shot, so you just switch back. It has a charge up, so it takes a little while, and then it shoots all the bullets, they connect, and make this whole little wire electrical situation, and depending on what element you have, mine's electrical, so you can drag them all in, shoot this thing around them, and it's just this big area of elemental damage and just absolutely shreds them. I used it on Troy. It does actually work pretty decently given it is a boss fight and it's on Mayhem 4, but any other Mayhem level, normal playthroughs, anything like this, I'd actually use this gun pretty regularly, just pulling a whole bunch of bandits in and then just sticking them with a whole bunch of elemental damage. And my flak build is not at all elemental, so if you guys have elemental builds, works even better. Now I did say I have 6, so I won't run through all the stats of all of them, but if you guys want to pause and look at each individual one, I got 2 cryos, 3 electric ones, and a caustic or corrosion one. And my corrosion is also anointed. While airborne, fire rate is increased by 20%, which is one of the new anointments. While airborne, this happens, fire rate, weapon damage, etc. I think this one's my highest damage one of 658 times 6 with 2100 electrical damage. But I think my anointed one would work more because 50% bonus shock damage after action skill ends. Essentially it just depends on how quickly you're using your action skill, you kind of build you have going on for you. But I'd say for just damage wise, this is probably the highest you're going to get on the gun. If you guys have seen any of my legendary weapon guides before though, I usually ask if anyone's got this gun, if you guys have any added bonuses, prefixes in the name, etc. Leave them all in the comment section down below so everyone knows what different variations they can get and the strongest versions of them, because I only have 6, so there could potentially be heaps more. And as most of you will probably already know, Troy does have another dedicated drop that has been part of the game since the start. It is the Occultist. I have a double penetrating one here, which essentially just means it is super damn strong. Also got an anointed drop. Out of the 50 runs, we got 11 occultists to drop and 3 of them were anointed. Pretty sure this was my strongest one. Could be wrong, honestly. I have a bunch of occultists just hidden around in all my characters and vaults. But this one has 884 damage, 882 fire damage on top of that with 20% chance. And my anointment, I think this is the strongest one I have got today. On action skill and weapon damage is increased by 100% for a short time, which is awesome. And the best part about this gun, if you fire it, it has a whole bunch of just random spinning shots everywhere that do a whole bunch of damage. If you actually manage to hit them all on the same target, you shred pretty much everything. But yeah, that is 50 kills on our boy Troy, the worst boss to farm in this game in my opinion, because screw that guy. But if you guys found this video helpful or enjoyable at all, feel free to smash subscribe. I'm going to be testing 50 kills on True Vault Hunter mode Mayhem 4 on every named boss in the game. And if they haven't found all the dedicated drops by the time I finish that, we're going to switch to normal mode and help out the rest of the community with that. So you're keen for that. Also, thank you so much. We smashed through 2,000 subs today. Like, we were on 750 3 days ago. We got like 1,000 subs in 3 days or 2 days. You guys are crazy. Thank you very much for supporting this series and me as a channel and me as a person and all that fun stuff. We're in the process of being reviewed to get this channel monetized, which is awesome, which means less work, more YouTube videos for you and me, which I am keen for. And like I've done for every other video in this series, I've created a super long list of all the legendaries we got from this test of killing Troy 50 times. And I will put it in the comment section down below in order of the runs, so you guys can check that out if you want to check dedicated world drop rates, anything like that. And if you guys are struggling to get any particular weapon, feel free to check that list down below. And if you guys want to reply to it and just say, hey, I'm looking for this gun, I'm struggling to get it because RNG sucks. If you guys have any spares, I am more than happy to send it to you because I have duplicates of a bunch of things. I don't have duplicates of everything. For example, Lucian's calls, I don't have any spares, I'm sorry. But if I do have spares, I am more than happy to send them to you. For example, I'm pretty sure I have 4 or 5 gas calls, which are going to expire in like a week. So if you guys want one of those and you haven't managed to get one, I do have a few spares and I'm happy to send them to you because I don't need extras. And yeah, other than that, if you guys want to smash like, share with your friends so they know to get the new Vosk's Death Grip from our boy Troy on Mayhem level 4 only. Exclusive to that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic day and adios.